presentation is on seizure mimic in children. And in the interest of time, and I will present only my first case, and especially also to highlight the swinging course that this particular condition has had between seizure and seizure mimic. So normally in a routine presentation, we usually begin with the clinical history, examination, investigations, diagnosis and differential diagnosis, and then the discussion. But in a routine office practice, many times the pattern of presentation is quite different. And in this child too, I was first asked to give my opinion on the EEG report. So this was the EEG report, which showed an intermittent sharp wave discharges, which was suggestive of bilateral epileptiform activity. And that no need to tell anyone in this audience that the next question is obviously going to be, what is the history? So the history was that this was a 14-year-old girl who came to us 4 months ago with a 1-month history of multiple episodes of jerking of all 4 limbs, mainly both the upper limbs, which were very brief, lasting for about 30 to 40 seconds. And most of these episodes were at night. The child used to sleep off, get up from sleep, and she was aware of these episodes, and but she could not control them. And there were occasional episodes which occurred during the day also. There was no history of eye or head deviation, and she could feel her limbs moving. That was the history. She has been well at birth with normal development, normal cognition, well in academics. There was no recent deterioration in cognition or motor skills noted, and she was absolutely well in between the episode. There was no recent or past medical illness or drug history or a significant family history. On examination, she was an absolutely well child with a normal neurological and systemic examination. So at this time, we had paroxysmal episodes or events with a well child and normal neurology in between. So the obvious differential was going to be whether this is a seizure or not a seizure. So considering some of the important points for discussion, the semiology of the events, the child was aware of these episodes. There were no eye deviation, head deviation, no frothing, no incontinence. There were no specific triggers, and that the mother described these events as a random movement of limbs. There was no tonic or clonic movement, and even their mother's demonstration showed that this was not typical of a seizure. So our consideration was that of a seizure mimic, more a movement disorder. The timing of these events, majority of these events were out of sleep. So it was not before the child went off to sleep, but rather the child used to get up from sleep and have these events. So the main differentials being nocturnal seizures and sleep-related events like parasomnias. However, the episodes were there during the awake state also, ruling out sleep-related events like parasomnias, and the differential now was most probably a seizure. And here I would also like to mention the psychogenic non-epileptiform events, which were not considered because these happened after the child went off to sleep. A video speaks more than 1,000 words. So here I have the video of this child. So you can note that these are a home video, a night recording, which shows that the child gets up and then she has these very random hyperkinetic movements, which are involving the upper limb, lower limb, some random movements of the trunk and the head also. So after seeing this video, obviously we shifted towards a movement disorder, a paroxysmal movement disorder, disorders, recurrent attacks of abnormal movements, typically either chorea, dystonia, or a combination without a loss of consciousness. When you thought about paroxysmal dyskinesias, the most common ones that we are aware of are the PKD, which are the kinesogenic dyskinesia, the PNKD are the non-kinesogenic dyskinesia, the PED are the exertional dyskinesia. But all these are not nocturnal events and happen during the daytime, whereas what we had was a paroxysmal dyskinesia, nocturnal, or a hypnogenic dyskinesia. So this was first described by Lugaresi in 1981 as attacks of nocturnal events of dystonia in the NREM sleep without detectable epileptiform activity on EEG. And since then, there have been multiple case reports, reviews in the literature also enlisting this condition as a fourth category of a paroxysmal dyskinesia. And if you can see the clinical picture, this was an adolescent, ours was a 13-14-year-old girl with an equal male to female ratio, predominant dystonia or a coliform movement. moment, very brief episodes, frequency ranging from multiple per night to few per year, predominant limb movements rather than the or the face and occurring out of an NREM sleep. By this time, we thought that our child fitted into a clinical consideration of a PHD or a paroxysmal hypnogenic dyskinesia, but literature has had its own twists and turns, and the same authors later on did extensive study on a group of these children, and they found, and they did an EEG monitoring, extensive EEG monitoring on these children, and found that many of them could be part of a nocturnal frontal lobe epilepsy. However, our child, even though had a epileptiform discharges on EEG, we could not identify a frontal focus in our child. And following this description, the PH, paroxysmal hypnogenic dyskinesia, was taken out of the dyskinesia classification and put into a category of epilepsy. But however, there were other authors who questioned the exclusion of PHD and did extensive studies, and they identified mutations which are seen in paroxysmal dyskinesia syndromes and questioned the exclusion of PHD as a subtype of paroxysmal dyskinesia. So, and this was also partly because there are other nocturnal paroxysmal movement disorders which are classically a movement disorder. Seizure or a movement disorder, how did it matter to us? Definitely the diagnosis was important, but also because we needed a treatment approach. And here we found things a little easier because both these conditions respond to sodium channel AEDs like carbamazepine or oxcarbazepine, whereas drugs and other AEDs like valproate do not respond at all. So, considering this, we did investigations to rule out other secondary cause. We had an ophthal examination, bloods, baseline metabolic workup, MRI brain and MRS, all of which were normal. So we started her on oxcarbazepine at a dose of less than 10 mg per kg per day. And within 2 weeks, she had a review and there were no further episodes at all. And this we concluded that response to such a dose of oxcarbazepine probably suggested a movement disorder. 2 months later, she was well. However, when things looked happier, at 3 months, she came back with an episode wherein she had a brief period of altered awareness, probably a seizure. The dose of oxcarbazepine was stepped and she was planned to do a nocturnal video EEG monitoring and a genetic workup also. But 1 month since, she has not had any episodes after that, and she's still pending her genetic workup. So we found a little satisfaction in seeing this classification from Swyman's textbook, wherein the PHD, although not part of the paroxysmal dyskinesia, are considered as a separate entity, and there is a question of this being a nocturnal frontal lobe epilepsy with mutations in some of the specific genes. However, there was some lessons learned that paroxysmal movement disorders, although rare, can also be a cause of paroxysmal nocturnal events. There are some definite movement disorders which can occur during sleep, the classical one being the ADC Wi-Fi dyskinesia, in which the child has an abnormal development and neurological status. And the other thing that we learned was that even when the semiology fits into what looks like a nocturnal dyskinesia, definitely frontal lobe seizures also need to be considered as a cause. There was also one more thing that we learned, that just a casual or a cursory look at Dr. Google does not always give a complete information, and you need a more thorough search to know all the finer details. So I thank you all for this patient hearing. Any questions? I shall be happy to take in the end.